Well, the comedy continues, I guess. Just color me stubborn. I'm going to finally get something finished on this Junkyard Dog. But keep in mind the fact that this is really an educational piece. I spent hours and hours welding various kinds of metal, thick, thin. Some metals, I don't know what it was, so I'll have to say some dissimilar metals. And one thing I learned is that this project would have been a whole lot better if I had worked from some sheet metal and cut and shaped it. But remember, the point was to use junk, which I did. The downside of it is I used a lot of welding wire and several pounds of electrodes for the stick welder. So the thing weighs about 40 pounds. So I don't want to spend the money for additional welding, trying to fill in all the spots with weld. I've already got too much money in this thing. So the Bondo seemed to be the best way to try to get it finished and get it out of the way. I'm going to mix up the Bondo. You notice I got that piece of cardboard, which I've used before, and it worked fine. Some people say don't use cardboard, but it actually works. This piece was not very thick, so it was not stiff enough. And I wrapped it with shrink wrap, a stretch wrap, you know, that you would use to wrap a pallet or something, just to see what effect that would have. And my conclusion is it would have been fine had it been a board or a piece of metal that I wanted to use over and over again. It'd be worth that trouble to do that. As it turned out, it didn't make much difference. The other good news is on that last video I said I used half a can, but I don't think I did. I think I only used maybe a quarter of a can. So I think I'll get this project done with one more quart of Bondo after I apply this. And I'm doing it in stages, no hurry. So at any rate, you mix Bondo the same way every time, pretty much. It's not really critical. The more hardener you put on it, the faster it'll set. And in this particular case, I'm not concerned that it set very fast. I'll apply some, and maybe this afternoon I'll apply some more. There's always tomorrow. Remember, I'm retired. I've got other irons in the fire and plenty of time to do stuff like this. You see, here's showing the problem of not having a stiff piece of cardboard or a board or something. It makes mixing it difficult. The interesting part of this is going to be shaping it after I get all the Bondo on. And remember, I want some of the metal pieces sticking out. It's supposed to look like a Junkyard Dog. So I want some of the junk pieces to show through. Also, I want it to have a sort of a threatening look. I would like to get it done in time to put it out in my flower bed for Halloween. That would seem appropriate. When I get it all done, I'm going to have to weld about a 3-foot piece of angle iron running from the bottom down so that I can stick it in the ground and it'll have some chance of standing upright. Here in Central Florida, our soil is very sandy, so it'll have to go pretty deep to hold. So my takeaway from using the stretch wrap is it worked fine on a piece of wood or metal, and that way I can reuse it again and again. The Bondo seemed to have no impact on it. Of course, when it hardens, what's left on that thing will be stiff, but what I care, it's going in the trash can anyway.